Well, folks, we've got a couple of very brief bits of news. One in particular, of course, from the thumbnail, which you'll have seen. I was actually alerted to this from two different places at the same time. Doubtless some of you will have seen this circulating, maybe Twitter, maybe elsewhere. But I was alerted to it from Shane on Instagram, so thanks to him, and also from the HSG Discord at the same time, pretty much. So if you're not already on the Discord, you absolutely should be. We talk about stuff like this. There's well over 1,200 people on there. But as far as this news, it is of course a Group 4 version of the existing newer shape Mazda 3. Already a great car, has a great engine swap. You can kind of already turn it into a sort of Group 4 car anyway, but of course because of how the game is structured, it has to actually be a Group 4 for it to be that level of useful. So this one, as I believe was used in some Japanese LAN racing recently, seems to have been a semi-leak of what this forthcoming Mazda Group 4 car will be. Of course there's already a Mazda Group 4 car, and it is interesting to me how Gran Turismo seems to be adding more additional vehicles to categories that we already have that manufacturer represented with on multiple occasions. We've seen this happen a couple of times now, and personally I would of course prefer, as I'm sure many others would, to have something actually new, like a different manufacturer to have an entry into that class, but this would appear to be the one that we've got for Mazda. Probably for many people replacing the Atenza in terms of how often you use it. And of course this will probably be an upcoming car, I would imagine, at least in the next update. I would not be surprised at all if it does come out in the next patch. And as a slight addendum to that, I think this is probably one of the vehicles that will be featured in the upcoming live esports events. You can actually log into the game and see some of those in sport mode for the Manufacturers' Cup, Nations Cup, and some of those are left blank. Some of the vehicles are left blank, and also one of the circuits, I believe it was, is left blank as well. We do know, of course, of at least 2 circuits, which should be coming to the game at some point. One from the leaked list, which, based on the fact that pretty much everything else from the leaked track list has arrived already, Red Rock Valley should be coming at some point. I don't necessarily think that will be it just yet. I think it's more likely, if any new track does come, which, fingers crossed, I think it will probably be more likely the Villeneuve circuit. And I'm aware that my pronunciation is always horrendous, but who cares? You know what I mean. So that track we are due. I think, if any, it will probably be that one, but we'll have to wait and see. It shouldn't be too long to wait and see now anyway. I'm expecting it pretty soon in terms of the update coming for September. And I do find one thing in particular, as a side note from this discussion, to be very curious, and it might mean nothing, but in those live event schedules, one of the rounds is on Special Stage Route X, which immediately is kind of a strange choice for a live event track anyway. That's a very specific kind of arena. More curiously to me though, the vehicle is not listed. Now, if it was something that's already in the game, you would think they would just have it there. A Tomahawk, a Red Bull, the obvious choices. Now, if it weren't already in the game, I would have said that may be how they debut the Bugatti Chiron. But we already have the Chiron now. We already have the Porsche 918. So unless that's something completely new in the form of a supercar, a hypercar, perhaps an ultra-quick Vision GT of some kind, which it very well could be, I would have thought we'd have seen it in the leaked list. I can't think of any other cars from the list off the top of my head that will be suited to a debut on Route X, so it could be some form of new hypercar or supercar. And of course we could predict all day long what we think it could be. I'm not necessarily making any actual predictions, I just find it very curious that that's the track, and also more curiously that with that track they've opted to leave it blank on the vehicle. It might mean nothing, so don't get your hopes up too much, but I find that quite curious. Perhaps some kind of ultra-quick vehicle is on its way. And I think, incidentally, just to put my own 2 cents in there, if it is a new vehicle, I think it's probably more likely some kind of ultra-quick new Vision GT car rather than a new supercar or hypercar, which I know people won't want to hear, but that's just what my gut's telling me. So we'll have to wait and see on all of these things. Of course, we know the Mazda's coming. We know that those 2 tracks are coming at some time, or they should be. So we'll have to wait and see in the next couple of weeks, I should think, what's going to happen with the September update. So of course, stick around for that news, and once it comes out, of course, I will be talking about it in depth. But until next time, I'll see you with more news, and for now, as always, thanks for watching.